Hey, what's up? Welcome to CZE Podcast. This is a special episode we're doing out back and in the yard, and it's a beautiful, sunny evening. So we decided to try and switch things up and be a little bit more relaxed in our environment, so we can be a little bit more authentic of ourselves and get our stuff together.
Camera quality. It's gonna be a little rough.
And when you say outback,
Camera quality might be a little rough, so we do apologize.
Yeah.
However, so we were just having a conversation literally about spirituality. I myself, I'm a Christian. And I take the position that I think that we are in the last days. I think that any minute now, by minute, I don't mean literally. It could be a year, it could be a month, it could be a week. Who knows? We don't know the time or the hour, but I believe that we're right on the cusp of it. And I think that's kind of where the timeline that we're in right now shows us, it shows us that by the events of the world that are in the world that are happening as we speak.
Well, based on what you understand, what is the most important thing for people to be aware of in these times?
I would say Jesus.
So what does that mean?
I would say the most important thing for people to be aware of is to have a relationship with God, to be aware of that relationship with Jesus.
What does that look like?
I don't want to say, well, it's a personal relationship where you pray and you accept him into your heart.
That's easy to say, but when I was growing up and I heard that a bunch of times, it didn't make sense to me. What, I'm supposed to just let this guy into my heart like I've got a gateway in there somewhere? It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, here's the door, bud, go on in. Like, people need to understand what that means if they have no clue what it means.
Well, so the Bible talks a lot about believe, like you believe in it, right? Yes. So believing is much more important, because faith is much more important than what you think you know.
So I guess the question is, do you believe that Jesus is the Son of God?
I would say that's the most important thing for people to ask themselves.
Yeah, these are the important questions I want. So what that means is it means that you believe that God is real, and he sent himself for what reason? He sent his ambassador in the form of flesh and blood, in the form of his son in immaculate conception with Jesus, with Mary and Joseph. For what?
So there's certain things, if you call yourself a Christian, that you have to believe, right? Not obviously, no Christian is perfect, and we should really strive for the relationship with Jesus Christ rather than strive to be perfect, because I think that will organically happen once you develop that relationship. Not you being perfect, but your life being bettered. But the certain things are, you have to believe. For example, you can't call yourself a Christian if you don't believe that Jesus was born of a virgin. If you don't believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, if you don't believe in the Holy Spirit and God and Jesus Christ, if you you can't call yourself a Christian or that, most importantly, Jesus died for your sins on the cross.
And what does that mean?
That his blood, his blood paid for your sin, past, present, and future.
Specifically, original sin? And what was that?
All sins.
All sins?
All sins.
Yes.
So what do you mean, what does that mean? I don't understand that question.
Because people have either a lack of knowledge or a misunderstanding of what original sin actually is.
Yeah.
So there's sins, and then there's original sin, what you're born with.
Well, original sin would be pride.
Right. It's the original violation in the Garden of Eden, correct?
Correct.
So that was a violation, basically saying, okay, we are... So that's what I've been trying to understand, is if I'm Adam and I'm sitting in the Garden of Eden and Eve comes up to me and says, hey, there's a ball of fruit that the snake put me onto. What are your thoughts?
Dude, my thoughts are, no, God told me not to.
That's
the first thing that has to come to mind.
And I think that's an important...
That's initially what you think. But this is where temptation comes in. Because we're not perfect, this is why we need Jesus.
But no, you're absolutely correct. But my point is, I think it was a little bit more seductive than that. I think Eve did a little bit of seducing because she was herself seduced.
She was naked.
They were all naked, but it meant nothing back then.
I know. That's another part of the original sin, is that you became embarrassed of your natural form.
You grew a consciousness.
You grew a consciousness, awareness.
Yes, an awareness. And
that you were naked, and Adam
onto what you were saying, it's like if you walk in a neighborhood and every house in that neighborhood is made out of glass, and you have one house with a sign in front of it that says, do not throw stone, what house is probably going to get a stone
That
thrown
one
at
with
it?
the sign.
Right.
I'm a teenage kid,
but
that
at
fucking
the-
place is getting robbed.
At the same time, the first thought's going to be, oh, it says do not do this. So, okay. But the more, the deal with the Bible is the law was given to us to show us our need for a Savior, that none of us could actually follow it.
Right.
That's why Jesus says, I had not come to do away with the law, but to fulfill. So, it's fulfilled. It's like, if you owe the bank money, and your payments to the bank are fulfilled, I suggest you stop paying. So, I'm not saying go out of your way to be this awful person. I'm saying that you can't change without Jesus. You can't. So it's either all God or all you, because He will not share His glory with any man.
I think that's super relevant to what's going on in the world today. What you see around you is because what was Jesus saying to his disciples when he said, when they came to him and said, you speak to common people in parables because they have ears and they do not hear, because they have eyes and they do not see. That's happening all around us all the time.
One of my favorite things that Jesus said in the Bible is, I have a lot, but one of many of my favorite things is he said, those who are not sick have no need of a doctor. It's those that are sick. And I think the Pharisee, I'm probably paraphrasing, I think so, but I think the Pharisee said, well, are we sick? Are we in need of a doctor? He said, no, you clearly see. But it was like almost satirical, and to where he was like, yeah, you're sick, but you don't think you're sick, so no, you're good to go. The law had not yet brought them down to their knees to show them their need for a Savior.
That is a brilliant, right there, what you just said, I think is the whole entire, in my life experience, that admitting that there is a power beyond yourself, outside of yourself. It has nothing to do with how smart you are, how gorgeous you are, how whatever successful you are. That was inherent in you. That was a gift that was given to you. Whatever the heck you come through in life is truly a gift that was given to you. And if you go around, I think that suffering is incredibly important to get people to the point where they are ready to give up and surrender to a God figure. If you don't have enough suffering in your life, if you're living a cushy life, you're never going to come close to the levels of surrender necessary to admit, okay, God, what is your plan? Okay, Jesus, you can come into my heart and show me the way.
I don't know that anybody really lives a cushy life. I would argue that point. Like, even you
right.
to say, oh, they're billionaires. You can argue like an Elon Musk or something, like he's having fun. Jack Nicholson, people that
he's got to suffer.
Dude,
he suffers.
But there's something on the inside that they're suffering.
Well, Elon Musk tells us what his suffering is. He's suffering. His brain never stops. He has Asperger's syndrome. His brain never shuts up. It never stops yelling ideas at him and what could be better. Like, he's constantly thinking. That is suffering, dude. If you have ADD or ADHD, or your mind you can't go to sleep at night, insomnia, whatever it is, that's what Elon Musk deals with all the time. He's suffering all the time in ways that we can't, as normal people, imagine. But the fact that he's become accustomed to that suffering and learned how to operate beyond it, and I would say that, I have never met Elon, but like I imagine that he, based on the actions that he takes, it seems like he wants what's best for all of humanity. It seems like.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get Zen in on this. Are you okay? What's your position on basically Christianity, the time frame that we're living in?
I'm only just recently getting it. So I, for the longest time of my life, 18 years of my life, was not an atheist, but I just didn't care. I think it's called agnostic.
You believe there's something there, but you don't know what it is.
But I think I went to church once. That was for like a fundraiser thing, and then other than that, I never did anything to do with religion in my entire life. Didn't care about it. Didn't want to think about it. Mm-hmm. Not that it was a bad thing, but like just because it never was brought up. My family, none of them are Christian, and none of them do anything, so I just never thought about it. Only time I started thinking about it was when I had a stepdad at the time who was atheist, and he was like, "Oh, I hate Christians. It's fucking annoying. They're stupid. They're idiots. They think everything's." And it's like, wow, okay. Well, let me look into the Christianity thing. And then literally just a couple nights ago was the first time I ever read a Bible. I started reading the first couple pages.
Good for
It
you.
was really late at night, so I went to bed after like 5 pages. But most of the stuff I read, I already knew, like the Adam and Eve stuff. I think that's not even like a, because it's not common sense. It's what's the word? It's known amongst everyone, not just Christians. Like
Inherent.
everyone has
Just
heard of
inherent.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Same with like
Common
the
knowledge.
Let There Be Light. Common knowledge. Everyone knows about these things. It's just whether or not you believe in them and stuff like that. And I was reading it, and I'm just now recently, I've prayed a couple times. I'm thinking I'm back, like John Wick. I think I'm gonna consider myself Christian because
There's a prodigal son.
Here's a question:
He has returned
has
home.
anybody at this table ever felt worse off after praying?
worse
No.
off.
Have you ever felt like things were specifically going worse for you after praying?
Yes.
Yes.
I can say yes, but
Yeah.
I see where you're
Me
going
too,
with this.
right?
But
Because-
but here's my deal. I felt worse after praying, but I go by the motto, and I can't prove this or anything, but I truly honestly believe in my experience that the devil doesn't kick a dead horse. So what that means is you are clearly doing something right if you're consistently being attacked. And
Fair play.
and so it's like you're doing, the devil's not going to come after you if you're already just,
Yeah.
I don't believe in God, I don't care, I don't like
If you're goose stepping with the rest of the squad, he's gonna leave you alone.
let me get that cutter. Thanks.
I was gonna bring up the point. Like, I think it's for a lot of new Christians or people just now accepting God into their lives. It's very common for them to seeing things not go their way, and then they chalk it up to God. Like, I started believing you, and this is how you repay me.
Hey,
Like,
Short-sighted.
don't talk about
that's-
me
I'm
like
not
that.
talking about you
Short-sighted, though.
specifically, but
That's the thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want you to actually respond to this. That's the thing, is how the hell does the devil get away with all this shit? And then when stuff like when things are good, we tend to not pray and not leave God in our lives, or not let God lead in our lives, and do all these things. And then when something bad happens, we blame him. And so it's like,
Yeah.
well, when do we blame
Satan.
our flesh or Satan?
Yeah. When do we
Because
take accountability for our own willpower,
Our
and
own free will.
mistakes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like,
I'd like to hear your response on that, Evan.
Yeah, I think life gets tough, and a lot of that, I feel like God does put you in hard situations so you can either learn to grow with him, or it just makes you a stronger and better person in the end.
But is it
Boom.
God that
And-
puts you in those hard situations, or is he us? And God just
Sometimes
uses
I would-
what's bad for us for good.
Yeah,
we
he
growing-
could. I think that's very possible. A lot of things are, subjective in this, but I believe personally, if something bad happens to you, it could be Satan, but it could also be an opportunity for God to tell you, this is how you better yourself. This is how I want you to learn from this and come up to my kingdom as the best possible version of yourself.
is that why my ex left me?
Maybe.
could be.
It might be.
Maybe she just didn't
I
see
feel like
the
it's-
She was an
forest for
atheist
the
too.
trees.
I honestly feel like it's important just to say, like, to get out there. Grace is literally in the Bible defined as the unmerited, unearned favor of God. So
I
it's
felt so much of that in my life.
Yeah, unmerited, unearned, and undeserved favor of God. And so when we look at agape, which is like the greatest form of love, right? It is unconditional, that we're not capable of, in my opinion. Because even my daughter, my kid, it's like I expect something in return, that I love her, and that's for her to love me back.
Yeah.
And if you're told I don't love you enough, you tend to downward spiral.
Yeah, I think people need to learn, and that's what the assistance of God, on how to love beyond your sphere of influence and line of sight.
Yes.
Can you love people in Palestine and love Israelis at the same time? Can you love Ukrainians and Russians at the same time?
Nope, they're Nazis.
Or are they all children of God
No, I'm
that are
just
being
kidding.
misguided and misled and allowing themselves to mislead each other? Like,
Yeah, no, it's a.
I mean, I've explained to you my theory on what we are on this planet. I mean, extra biblical.
Why don't you talk about that?
Well, I think that we are, if you imagine that we're a speaker, I mean, you know how speakers work?
Yeah.
you pump the power in, and it'll go in, it'll vibrate the magnet, and make its effect, and
Yep.
and create a physical frequency.
Mhm.
Well, we have frequencies that we are influenced by all the time. Everybody's heard the common knowledge of you've got an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other shoulder, right? Which one are you listening to, and which one are you projecting the influence of into our physical universe?
I feel like a lot of people right now.
Cliff Connectal is, how do you say that?
What?
Cliff, I know who you're
What's his
talking
last
about.
name? It's Connectal.
It's like
or-
Netchel, something
Who?
like that. I don't know.
He's
You guys probably
he's
don't
this
know him.
Christian, like he speaks out at unis and colleges across America, and he
Not
talks,
Billboard
preaches
Chris.
God.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I
I
forget
know who
his
you're
name.
talking
He's older.
the older guy.
Yeah, he's older.
and his name is Cliff something. It's like Knichtel,
Yeah.
or I don't know how to pronounce it, and I apologize for that.
That guy's concise.
But
KNECHTLE.
I just before I started looking into the Christianity stuff, which sounds really weird to say it like that because it sounds like it's like a website. But before I started looking at it, I used to watch him and be like, damn, this guy sounds crazy because he's like talking, and then I'm like, but a lot of stuff he says makes sense. And
Yes.
now I watch him, I'm like, damn, this guy's fucking goated. This
Right.
guy's awesome. Like he's talking to these people, and then they sound like lunatics talking
He's-
back to him.
dude,
'cause-
Calm.
That
yeah,
guy
he's
is like
calm.
my
That's
Joseph
the best part
Prince.
about him. He's
Yep.
super calm. He's
Seems like a guy that's got.
but he's passionate as well.
Yeah.
No, I highly recommend Joseph Prince. I've followed him for years upon years, and he's actually brought me to my faith to make it as deep as I have it now with Jesus. So it's who speaks out to you or like, well, you want to make sure that there's a lot of people nowadays that don't preach the actual gospel and just condemn, and it's hell brimfire.
How about
like
this?
Brimstone fire. Like,
Is Satan's whole mission to confuse and confound us?
God
part
says,
of
"I
the
am
mission.
not the author of confusion." So yes, that would be from Satan.
So, when you have people like Taylor Swift doing like rituals at their concerts and stuff like that,
Eminem
and Eminem
too.
and Travis Scott and like people like that in the mainstream.
Yep.
When you have people like that, and it's, the reason I bring up because Taylor Swift specifically identifies as a Christian.
Why do you call her
Oh, does Taylor Smith?
Why
Taylor
do you call her-
Taylor Smith.
I'm never gonna call her Taylor. She's gonna be Taylor Swift from here on.
Dude, I like it.
So, anyways, she's trash because
She's
she
trailer
identifies
trash.
herself as a Christian, and all of her actions prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Not all, but
Yeah.
public actions on a loud stage with vast reach says
majority of influential
kill
like,
those babies.
teenager audiences.
Says you are so beautiful. You are God. You are fucking this or that. Look at me. Idolize me.
yeah.
Like Taylor Swift. Like
No, 100%,
she
bro.
she's
her middle
trying
name?
to. I have no fucking clue.
Trash.
You're right, dude. That
Trailer
would track.
trash Swift.
That would track. I believe that. You know what? I read that somewhere. But dude, no.
Allegedly.
MTV.
No, when you got so many people out there like coming out saying I'm a Christian, and then they go and show all of the people that wouldn't otherwise. They remain willfully ignorant of what the Bible actually says.
They don't care.
And you got people like that out there, which
I'm sorry. Can I just say it's
Yeah.
not, and it's not a sin not to know, but it's kind of a sin not to know and not to care that you don't know.
But what does the devil need in order to succeed with us? Consent. He needs our.
I don't know.
To a
What
degree,
about the story of Job?
For him to
what
be
about the story of Job?
For Satan to be ultimately successful, we have to. A lot of us, maybe. I feel like a lot of us need to consent to things that we remain willfully ignorant to for him to be successful in the.
But what about the story of Job?
Fill me in.
Satan had to
I mean, I know the story,
ask
but you-
God for permission to basically attack Job. And Joe Biden brain.
It's Jover, bro.
It's Job. He had to ask God for permission to attack Job. He wasn't allowed to kill Job, but he could kill his family. He could destroy his life basically.
He can
but he
confound him as
cannot
much as-
kill Job. Job was even plagued with boils, all
Yeah.
sorts of things. Where he tried to get the bet, so to speak, was that Satan could get Job to curse God.
Mm-hmm.
And Job, he never did it.
I know why. I know
Were you
why.
there, Paul?
I wasn't there. I would see. That's the thing. If you have a navigable, like, I don't know the scripture. I can't recite like CJ can. But my ideas of what I think it is, I don't think they're super contradictory. I don't think they're
contradictory yet. Well, I
no,
mean,
that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that.
So what's your opinion on why? What you know why?
Because Job had faith.
Yeah.
Job had faith. Job knew that
You're-
no matter what this earthly whatever was going on, and I don't know what he knew. I didn't live, but I feel like if I was in Job's position
You're
and
actually-
that was placed on me, if God had bet on me, my faith would have won the bet.
Yeah, you're actually not wrong at all. Job ended up being blessed with like more children.
Yeah.
With more like, and that's not
He
to
just
say
went
what
with
you
the
just replaced, because I can
Yeah.
imagine replacing my child.
He surrendered to God's
But
will.
he surrendered to God's will, and he knows that he'll see his child again. David even mentions that he knows he'll see one of his babies that died again, and so
And he
in heaven.
truly he believes it.
Yeah.
So there's no trick that you can get over on someone that you're trying to lie to them. If you figure out how to spot these lies for what they are, and if it seems more confusing and it stands against the knowledge of God, you're just like, that's a lie. Nope. I don't
got a
consent.
What's up?
It's kind of off topic, but you brought up babies going to heaven.
Yeah.
How can a baby go to heaven if it has no consciousness to understand that there's a God?
Well, you don't need a consciousness.
What do you need?
Well, God didn't even want us to be conscious of sin. You need a soul.
I believe
You need a
babies are
spirit.
conscious.
And I do also. How if they weren't even subconscious, how would they learn?
Have you guys never met anybody that have
They
memories
can't
of
until they
having
hit a certain age.
You
They
not,
can, they
have you-
can learn what.
I know what you're about
hang
to
on,
say.
hang on,
Yep.
hang on. Think
You
about.
do too. There
think,
it is.
Think about this. Think about
So,
this.
yep.
Why do
Because
babies?
that doesn't bolster the old faith.
Why don't babies put? Why do babies go around grabbing everything, putting them in their mouth?
They're stupid.
No, because they're learning. That's
Learning
What
what?
would Freud say? It's because
What,
they like
what goes
blah,
in the
blah.
mouth and what
Like
hurts
what?
in the mouth? Like if
what hurts. What does it taste like? Does this? They're hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. This clearly isn't edible. Nope. That's. And they go to
All right,
mother's
bleach.
milk. and
Let's see
stuff
how
like
this
that.
goes, and then
So
obviously they die.
Well,
if they drink
Freud
bleach.
calls it a
hopefully
phallic
they don't drink
obsession.
bleach. Hopefully they don't
He says
take
it
the
was
cap
an
off.
obsession with like a phallus.
Talking about babies.
And that's
They're
why
like-
all babies, boys, males and females, are always trying to put them things in their mouth because they're exploring the world with their mouth. And that's where pedos
One
come
of
in.
one of the six one of the
They're like, hey, I got a.
one of the
It's
six
not
senses,
okay. It's
right?
not okay.
Or
Yeah.
5 senses. Sorry, one of the 5 senses.
I won't talk about what I was talking about earlier.
Oh God.
Please don't.
I won't. Didn't do it.
But one of the
five
five
senses?
one of the 5 senses, right?
That's true.
The smell. If you put a smell, you'll get a reaction. Give a baby a lemon, see its reaction. It is conscious. It is a conscious being. It goes to sleep. It needs rest. It wakes up. It
I'm not saying
it breathes.
it's not alive. It lives. It's just not aware of what's going on
Well,
around it.
because they don't understand.
Question.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He
So
picked up
so
on-
why wouldn't they? So my question: why wouldn't they go to heaven? They're under the age of understanding. They don't know. Just like a
And they're-
a
so they're
9 or
still
10-year-old
saying
probably
is
can't
they're-
understand a lot of parts of the Bible.
They're closer to being a
So how do
light,
they get to
pure
heaven if they
being of God.
disobey that?
Actually, we don't know if they do.
We do.
How?
The Bible.
What's it say?
The Bible literally says the age of understanding. When you come to the age of understanding,
Does it say what the age of understanding is?
I believe in Hebrew it was
13?
12, 12 or 13.
And that's written in the Talmud?
I'm not sure. We're not
curious.
We're not going there.
I'm just curious. I'll leave that alone. But what was your... What do you have memories, you
Yeah,
said?
so I actually do. I don't know if it's necessarily toddler, but Jesus, that fucking went straight in my face.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. I remember when I think I was 3 or 4 years old. And this isn't, I remember because I saw a video or a picture. It was like, I just remember it vividly in my head. I used to live up on the islands over there. I won't say exactly where. Actually, yeah, I will. I'll bleep it out. Camino Island.
Yeah.
We had a house up there, and I was in the dining room in
Go
my
Colt.
little booster seat, and my dad made lobsters, and he gave me the head of the lobster, and I was fucking flailing
You were
it
king.
around.
Yeah.
I was the coolest
Yep.
person at the table. I had a fucking lobster head, dude, and I
those
was
don't-
playing
yeah.
it, and that's what I remember. I
That's
was like
crazy.
3 years old, and I remember that.
I was probably less. I was probably around between 2 and 3.
Hmm.
I'd say I was down in San Diego. I was probably 2 years old. Honestly, I think I was less than 2 years old. First thing I remember, I was riding a plastic trike on the streets.
awesome.
I was that young, and everybody's like, "No, you couldn't even walk." And I'm like, "Let me show you the pictures and videos. If you don't think I was able to do that, then let my parents." tell you
So
the
at what
story."
age, Evan? At what age?
Never mind my
would
story.
you think? Oh,
Anyways, I almost got hit by a garbage truck, and that was my first memory. Go on.
no.
On a trick.
Honestly, I got distracted looking up, but
That's
I'm
fine.
like,
You offended me, but let's move on.
let's move.
I'll get over it.
No, I'm sorry. At what
women.
age, Evan, would you say? Because I remember things as early as 3, 2. Like, oh, so you're just saying they don't go to heaven? We don't know.
So
I mean, I really don't.
Okay, so
I
what
don't
makes the
know.
difference between them and you?
I'm aware of
You're
what's
aware.
going on around.
Can you name all 300 and umpteen commandments? You're aware.
Hell no.
Okay, so you're not aware.
not
Okay,
aware.
no, what I'm saying is
No,
the
but you don't know everything. So how the hell do
That's not
we
what
know
I'm
that you're
saying.
going to get to heaven?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I am a conscious being that knows that there is a God up there. And I believe in that God. I have the ability to project my faith in that God. Therefore, I can go to heaven.
So you were given a
baby-
choice. You were given a choice, right?
Yes.
And you chose to believe in God.
Yes.
Okay. Were babies giving that choice?
I don't know. I don't think they were.
No.
Because no one can be. They can't be spoken to. They can't conceive that concept.
No.
Okay, babies go to hell
far as we
according
know.
to Evan.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that.
That's
we, like,
literally what you're saying.
Like,
You
if
want
they go to
to
heaven,
force into Orlando's?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, then,
That, like some very few have that consciousness.
well, then
level.
what about
Like,
aborted babies?
The
They're all
most
going to hell?
innocent thing that has committed less sin than anybody else in this world. You're saying it has the least amount of chance to get into heaven. Or
That's
you,
not what I'm saying.
or you don't know
That
if
sounds
they
more
even
like a
get
rich
into
man
heaven.
to
So what I'm saying here is, well, number one,
man.
the amount of sin
White
you do doesn't
privilege.
determine whether you go to heaven or hell. What determines it is your faith in God. And babies cannot put that, like, they don't know how
believe
to
they're too-
project their faith in God.
I believe they're too innocent to not think that there is a possibility that doesn't exist.
Even babies sin too. Babies do.
Well, you're born into sin.
Babies,
Right.
I
You're
think it's
born
fair
into
to say
sin.
babies can come into this world believing in anything. So you can't really put much of what they could.
I don't
possibly
think babies
believe
come into
past
this
them.
world believing the earth is flat.
They come in
whether they
thinking
understand
dinosaurs
it
are
or
going to
not.
walk around.
Well, they come into the world going, "Ooh, look at that stupid baby." That's what they look like.
I honestly think that babies are smarter than you guys are giving them credit for.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
I do. But I think they're actually closer to God. I think they're actually closer to God than we are.
Because they just spawned in.
Well, that's what I was.
They just spawned in.
They just spawned. They just respawn, man. They're closer to God than we ever.
You were just born, and then you die, and you didn't have a chance. I don't know. Look at the guy on the cross next to Jesus.
I think they
The
just
one
go on up
that
there with him.
literally didn't get baptized, didn't get and he was Jesus said, "Tonight you will dine with me in paradise. You will be
I
with
mean,
me.
it
You will
seems
be
to
with
me
me."
like it's like, oh, you didn't even have a chance to screw up. You get a free pass.
That's what I'm saying. The reason why I think babies would go to heaven is because they didn't have enough time to figure the shit out for
To
themselves.
understand
to
what they were
understand,
doing.
Yes.
To understand that what they had a choice between right and wrong, and
Yes.
they chose wrong.
They don't have a moral compass.
They
They're
had
fucking babies.
of their own
Like,
I
volition.
have
They
something to
chose
say.
wrong.
Yeah.
Off topic. I don't know what the fuck happened, but the camera now looks amazing. The
like it.
lighting
It's
must have
me.
gone away.
It's
the
me.
sun must
It's
have gone
me.
away.
Did you
It's
pause
me.
it?
No, I'll cut Alan.
okay,
Sorry.
okay.
It was
Dude,
me.
it looks good now.
So
It's the
just
sun
for everybody to
going on, yeah.
understand, I made the lighting perfect. So
Let there be no light.
let there be the perfect amount of light.
That's crazy that happened right when those birds flew over. I don't know if anyone else caught
I
that.
caught that. I was just like, a boo.
Wait, when I said that?
No.
Birds flew
Before, like the sun went down, it was like a group of birds were.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from, and I can see
Well-
that you're clearly fucking bored out of your mind stretching.
Dude, I don't.
He's over stretching his Nephilim arms and limbs over here.
This motherfucker's like 6'3".
At least when I'm doing stuff, I'm doing it on the table. Like I just burnt that Jack Daniels lid.
So you're a pyro. Oh yeah. So you want to recreate hell on earth?
It's
is what-
called autism.
by choice.
It's called autism.
All right, I get
Well, I
it.
used the punch to get this out.
Well, that's badass. So
Thank you.
I mean, nobody can do that but you.
I feel like I could give you my car keys and just keep you entertained.
I feel like I can do that with a 2-year-old.
Wait, actually,
Yes, that's the
speaking
point.
of, where are your keys?
They're right there. You want to steal my car?
I want to use them.
Oh, is it? Here you go.
wants
Hang
to-
on, hang on, hang on.
Oh, good.
Hey, look at the stoop.
Live.
You like
Okay,
that?
all right. I'm gonna edit it out
Hold on.
starting whenever you start.
So, okay, that makes sense, but the argument you were making was, how do we know that babies go to heaven? You never said, this is how I think babies go to heaven. You said, how do we know they go to heaven?
Yeah.
And I think, I think that question is, how do
Have
you
faith.
like-
Have faith that God's got a plan for them. Like, I mean, it's just like all the other things in the plan. We don't know.
Why are
what
you
it
punished
is.
for killing babies? When
Because
they
you're a
used
piece
to
of shit.
when they used to sacrifice their firstborn to Moloch, and they used to put the firstborn baby in the stomach, and the stomach was a fire, and they used to play drums to drown out the crying.
Why do they still do that to this day?
In a different form, abortion.
Yep.
Spawn killing.
You know, no, a million? Are you joking?
No. What I'm saying
No,
is that
he's-
is true.
Some people do that still.
But they still do the
Yeah.
Moloch statue shit.
I think it is a sacrifice to Moloch. I think it's repackaged in the shape of abortion
I agree, because what would hurt God more?
than killing his.
The purest
Purest
forms
of
of life
innocent.
that were
That
just
is so
respawned
true.
and haven't even had a chance to get spit out. What would seriously?
They're getting fucking spawn killed.
Yeah.
and
Why?
they're doing
Why,
this
hold on,
like
why
that.
are we deciding to go with spawning? They're born.
Because
When
it's
they-
just
When they're born,
It created.
He said spawn. I just went with it.
It just works.
And then
I mean,
he's
it
over here
just works.
spawn killing. This
Because
isn't a
we
video
don't
game.
know.
This is Gen Z. They fucking play video games and they're just like, oh, we respawn.
I'm Gen Z.
We're trying
guys
to
are.
explain it. We're trying to
you-
explain it in
No,
the
I
same
pointed.
ways.
I did that.
Yeah, but they were saying it.
We're
I
using the
wasn't.
parlance of the times to explain the concepts,
doing?
just like Jesus did.
You're a generational traitor.
I'm not, because listen, you guys.
I'm
Don't
your
get me
generation.
started on the Lizzo and the smelling where it's coming from. Because I'll tell
Say
you that.
Lizzo.
Yeah, well, Lizzo probably had a ton of abortions.
Well,
Anyways, back on track. I mean,
Why do you think they stink?
okay. Kill count. Leave it in the comments.
What am I talking about? Put it in the comment. If you know, you know. Thanks.
no, I think that women using
Abortion is a
abortion
contraceptive.
as a contraceptive
It's
is
a-
wrong, and it's a form of Moloch sacrifice.
In any state that would
Or Bell,
any
Bell,
any
Paul, however you say his
society
name,
or
like, it's
group
the
of
same.
people that would say that that is a fucking correct approach to birth control and reproductive health, you fucking high.
Health is
You
supposed to help
fucking
people.
high.
We just had
Yeah.
we just
Oh,
had
Reproductive care in what? Killing reproduction? How is that
You just cut off
reproductive
some limbs
care?
and some
Here's
heads.
the arguments
Snip out
I
a
don't
few,
like.
here's some
We just had
chemicals.
Tiana from Blessed Arts on yesterday, and or Torgy's Arts. Is it
Blessed Arts.
Blessed,
Torgy
Blessed Arts? Torgy,
Creations.
okay, and like when they bring up the argument of Paul yawning and acting like he's bored.
I'm not bored.
No, I'm fucking.
I
with
never
you.
get bored. I haven't been bored in decades.
when they bring up the argument of literally, well, not just rape and incest, but like medical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
Medical
If it's
care.
medical and the mother's life is in danger, okay, we all agree. If the mother's life is in danger, okay, do what you have to do to save the mother. I agree actually with that. I can't speak for everyone
What
else.
percentage
I
of
agree.
cases
But
is that?
It's
though?
so small because nowadays
I'm
our
saying.
medical technology can take care of that.
They're
stuff.
conflating extreme cases
Yes.
with all of
yes.
them.
It's less than 1%.
It's man.
It's less than 1%.
The argument they make about
My
that
God.
is
I was
My
doing that on purpose. I was doing
fucking-
it on purpose.
the argument they make to combat that is like, well, if the states ban abortion, they ban all of them, including healthcare ones.
No, and that's not true.
It's like,
Doctors would save the mother's life.
yes, they're trained.
How-
They're not
what
saying yes,
care-
the baby comes no matter what, even if the mother's head's gonna pop off and she's gonna die.
Care for what health?
Not for the baby.
That's what I'm saying. So you're cutting out a huge part, and their argument is going to be, oh, it's not a real person.
Yeah, and
Be
if
like,
God,
neither were you.
If God wanted you to kill babies, He wouldn't have said, "Let there be light." He would have said, "Die."
Yeah, he would have
Like,
just said, snip
yeah,
that fucker up.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
Nah.
a reason for the light that He brought, and it's to bring life.
Yeah.
All right.
Let the baby see
Stop
the light.
fucking killing babies.
Let the baby see the light.
Just because you got.
You ever think
fucked-
you'd be in an argument in your life, or a debate, or a conversation in your life where you have to convince somebody that killing babies is actually a bad thing?
Yeah.
That is
It's-
why are we here?
Like even this is where I get frustrated, even with some of my favorite podcasters that I watch, that are like, well, it's a hard conversation to have because does the baby have a right to take the mother gave consent once she let the guy stick it in her.
Yeah.
The mother gave consent, and then once, like, at conception,
Did she not know that she could get pregnant from doing that?
that doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter that she knows she could prevent herself.
She
entirely
knew she
from
could kill
becoming...
She knew if that was a possibility
Put
to
a
happen,
plastic bag over
she could
it
kill it.
before you
Yeah,
stick it in.
Just snuff her, boys. Snuff her. It's like, okay,
I say-
if you
I
want
say
to have
just
an abortion, then
wait-
you're going with the baby.
Wait until you get married.
And I don't agree with that either.
I agree with that.
Wait until you get married to have sex.
I didn't, but I'm okay.
It's not that hard.
It's not really. It's not even being
I'm
hypocritical
not saying
because
that I
we
did, but
like.
I'm saying I know that it's not that hard.
I know people that have done that.
Shapiro?
I don't know if it's
Yeah, he
Shapiro
did. He
did,
saved
yeah.
himself.
but good for him.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
he doesn't regret it.
dude, I wouldn't
Ask him if
regret
he
it if
regrets
I
it.
was able, but I will like it gets frustrating because it's like you want to do the right thing, to do the right thing, and actually like waiting. What is it? The 3 things that make you like set you up for the most success is like waiting to have sex until marriage, graduating high school, and there's one more thing, and I don't know.
I think it's jerking off is a sin, right?
Yeah, it's lust.
It's
No.
considered.
Is it not?
No,
No.
It's
Is it
like
not
don't
lust?
spill your seed into your own hand.
No,
It's-
that's not in the Bible.
Not in the
That's
Torah.
not in the Bible. Lusting
That's what it
after
It
someone.
comes
now,
down to
now
if
it-
you're thinking it, you're
Wait.
pretty much doing it.
Wait a minute.
You're committing
now,
in your heart.
hang on. Now, if you go to Texas and your wife is here and you are on a business trip and you call your wife and let's say you do some things, masturbate to
Phone
her.
sex.
You freeze the
To
semen
her.
and you bring it back and make it
It's your-
available to her.
Who are you lusting after?
Your wife.
Your own wife. That's not a sin.
Yeah, but if I'm lusting over that hot ass porn star, that is.
But there are things.
Correct, but you're missing the point. Like, okay, I think it's 38 times in the book of Romans that the word sin is mentioned, and or is it Rome? I think it's 38 times in the book of Romans the word sin is mentioned, and 37 times it's mentioned as a noun. Sin is. So it's mentioned as a place. So I want to paint a picture real quick for everybody. So you have this place called sin. Only one time it's mentioned as a verb, and I think that's when Paul says, so what shall we do then? Go out and sin and do this, and that? God forbid. And he goes on, and I paraphrased. But so it's mentioned as a noun. So you have a place called sin. Now, nothing you do when you're in this box, you're in this jail cell called sin that you cannot get out of.
Yep.
The only thing you do is literally nothing you do. You can feed all the hungry people in the world. You can help. You can save lives. You can do all this, and you're still going to hell. No,
That
because you.
doesn't
Confused.
Let me finish. And then now here comes Jesus in a whole nother box. Now his blood is the only thing that can get you out of that box.
Freedom.
Jesus' blood, and so he gets you out of that, and now you're able to be free from that sin. And by free from that sin, by the way, it's not free from like actually like verbally actionally like doing the sin action. That's when our bodies get redeemed, which they have not been yet. That you're free from the consequence of sin because Jesus took it all on the cross for him. Now, to say that you can sin and you can do something so bad when the only thing that could get you out of this box over here of sin and into this over here is Jesus' blood, is to say whatever sin you can do is more powerful than Christ's blood, which will take you from this box and put you right back in there.
Well, only blasphemy, right?
Well, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, in my from my studying and from my knowledge, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is a constant denial of Jesus Christ throughout your entire lifetime. And the more you deny him, your heart becomes harder and harder.
And they do that all the time with their upside down crosses and their pieces of art that show him just.
I used to do it with the upside down cross and shit because it's like the people we hung out with, growing
Yeah.
up. And
That's
so
the influence I was telling you
Yeah,
about. It
yeah.
can come through other people, but what
No,
do you want
was-
to play as your physical speaker?
it was the punk rock scene.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you know, the skateboarder.
You remember me
punk
back
rock,
then?
Like, fuck yeah.
I mean,
You had your van.
I wasn't
I loved your
perfect.
van.
Oh, the murder wagon?
Yes.
The bus o' death? I had a misfit skull on the front of a 1969 Volkswagen Type
I remember
microbus.
that.
Dude.
Yeah.
I was there.
My dad was like, bus o' death.
You weren't even born.
I like look over, I'm like, right? like it
Just
didn't
go
even
with
matter.
it.
I'm like, oh yeah, you were there, cool.
Did that
yeah,
make
it was
sense?
cool.
Yeah.
That analogy?
Yeah.
I mean, because it being it's a place.
about
It's a
the-
place of sin that you're in. And trust me, there is no sin more powerful than the blood of Jesus Christ. To say that in itself is a form of blasphemy, in my
What?
opinion.
Well,
that there's a
say-
sin more powerful than Jesus' blood.
How is his blood a sin?
That there is a sin more powerful than Jesus' blood. To say that is a form of blasphemy.
So there's a sin out there that the blood of Jesus can't wash away.
Oh, okay. So
It's so powerful, it's beyond his
his
strength.
blood,
And
yeah.
no, it doesn't happen.
The
It doesn't
sidebar. I don't know. This just kind of caught my attention. Evan, you need a new shirt, bro. That thing is drooping.
What do you mean?
On
It's
the
a
collar.
V-neck.
That
It's
is-
a V-neck.
it's a homemade V-neck.
Homemade V-neck.
Nope, it's a U-neck.
Looks like someone was talking
Look at a
on
eunuch.
that
A eunuch.
shit.
Bam. Fists and bows.
I was gonna say. So you said it's the constant denial of Jesus throughout your life, right?
Yes.
What if you have times of doubt?
That doesn't count.
That-
Once
No,
you're saved, you're always
denying
saved.
outright.
Once you're saved, you're always saved. If you've given your life to Christ, you cannot undo that. It's out of your control. That's how much He loves you.
Those moments of weakness become a
You
lot
can
easier to
say
manage
you don't
over
think
time.
you think God is sitting up there going, "Oh my gosh, like this person just said my name in vain. Like I'm gonna send them to hell."
Yeah,
and
fuck 'em.
yeah.
Wait,
No.
That's
did
not
you
the
just
spirit.
in the same sentence say, "You think God is up there saying, 'Oh my God, this guy just said my name'"?
Yeah,
in vain?"
totally, dude.
Is that
Oh
what
my
you
me.
just said?
Oh my me.
Well, there's nothing higher than God. So what else would God swear by?
Oh my stars! Oh my lucky
That's
stars!
that's not higher than God.
Oh my days.
You swear
It's like, no.
you swear by things that are greater than you.
Omnipresent.
Oh my.
What if he just says, "Oh my"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh me!
Oh my my.
Oh me!
Who's that CNN reporter? Oh me. Oh my. Oh my gosh.
my.
Oh
sorry,
God.
sorry about that.
These polls are bad.
You shut your fucking mouth down there, boys.
Don't talk about my name like that.
No, that's what he'd be up there saying. You shut
You
your
get
fucking
up there,
mouth
you
talking
Shut
to
your
me.
fucking
He
mouth.
just has an Indian accent.
And he goes like this.
What are you doing down there?
Are you
What
saying
is
yes or
going
no?
Go back to the
Maybe.
Oh, God.
On to this.
And it's funny to see also, to be honest with you guys, that this is so true because how many Muslims and Hindu, like people who worship Hinduism and stuff like that, are turning to, no, Buddhist is totally different than Hindu.
Oh, no, I was saying Buddhism.
In Buddhism are turning to Christ.
Yeah. It's
Like-
a lot of and they acknowledge his existence. By the way, Islam.
I have a question.
There's one that
Buddha.
doesn't, but we're not going to get into that right
What?
now.
No, they did.
No, they
They
don't.
did rudely.
We're not going to
Not
I have
in
a
the
question.
context of the others. Not in the context of the others.
So
They did though.
I have a question.
They know where he's at too.
This is a random question.
Some of them think they do.
Why is it that atheists still say, "Oh my God"? If there's
Fair
no
play.
God.
Because they're just that's going
Right, you know, and
That's
I've actually made
because
that
it's
argument.
parlance.
I've made that argument before. When's the last time anyone got really upset and was like, "Oh my unicorn"?
Yeah.
You want to know why you don't say that? No, honestly, you want to know why you don't
Why
say
doesn't
that?
anybody say,
Because
"Oh,
they
my
don't
Lucifer"?
exist.
Why don't they say, "Oh my Satan"? Why don't they say, "Oh my Beelzebub"? Why
back-
don't they say,
back
"Oh
in
my
the day,
Baal"?
my,
oh my balls.
My
my
insanely
Jezebel.
Christian
my
grandmother
Baphomet.
would say, "Don't say God, say oh my gosh."
Yeah.
And then gosh became my God. Not no. Okay, hold on, wait, not in that way. Like as in, I would say gosh instead of saying God, like
Dude,
in vain.
I
Like, I would
had
say
a
oh my gosh or
coworker.
what the gosh darn. Like I wouldn't say anything.
Me and my sister were raised the same way.
Yeah, that kind of faded out. I don't know why. I just now say whatever, really, except for the N word.
Yeah. I've never heard you say that, for the record.
Yeah. All right. But
For the record.
You will.
I've been called that by people at this table, though.
Looks at Chris. Dun,
I won't say who.
God is good.
But it was a term of it was a term of endearment.
No, but like, why do atheists say God if they don't believe it?
To be honest with you, that's an excellent question that I've posed before as well. Like more importantly than oh my God, why do atheists say Jesus Christ when they get angry?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they ain't thinking about what
They
they're
don't.
saying.
Hey,
just
they
like
don't
ain't
say.
thinking about what they're doing.
They don't say Buddha. They don't say oh my Buddha.
Oh my
Here's the
Buddha.
thing,
But let me tell you this. It's because America. It's funny. I hate it when people say that Christianity is a Western religion. It's a Western thing.
Oh my Buddha.
It literally came from the Middle East,
What?
like Christianity
Jesus?
and Jesus.
Yes.
Are you talking about Jesus?
And Jesus. And so, you come to America, which was built on Judaism and Christianity, which was built on the principles of Judaism and Christianity. And all of a sudden, it's this awful atheistic, or it's this awful, not atheistic, sorry. It's this awful thing that people are like, and they'll put down, they're fast. People in America, I'm speaking mostly of liberals, that's why I'm hesitant to say, but
Yeah.
they're fast to put down God. They're fast to put down Christianity. Where are these people? Where are their balls when it comes to putting down Islam?
No. You
When it
cannot-
comes to
Yeah.
putting down any other religion?
There's things we don't talk about here because it might offend.
I notice with when you're in an argument with or a debate with someone that is an opposing person to you, when you get them in a gotcha position, a lot of the times, specifically liberals or atheists, they start messing around. They go oh, but unicorns are real, or how do
They
you know they're not
identify as
real?
one.
They'll start manipulating
They'll
the
start-
wordplay and
they'll
like
start just doing
Yeah.
stupid shit, and it's dude, now it's not even a debate. You just got fucked.
It's a game of confusion, which is what?
comes from
Yeah.
God is not the
Yeah.
author of confusion.
Yeah.
I have two
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
One is I think from now on I actually might, because it kind of caught on to me, I actually might say oh my Buddha instead.
Oh my dear Buddha.
Oh my Buddha.
Wouldn't that imply that you worship Buddha?
No. It means I think Buddha's in vain.
Oh, I don't think that saying "Oh my God" is saying God in vain, though.
if you say
What,
could be.
what are you saying it for?
I mean, the conditions that I would say it. Oh my God, that's serious.
You know what? That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point, because if you saw something beautiful and you came out and you were like,
Oh my
my
God.
God.
oh
that's
my
beautiful,
God,
right?
you're basically giving God credit.
That's
what about God damn?
That's how I use it.
God
I
damn, that's
say
a nice
that
ass.
all
I
the
wouldn't
time.
ever
Like
use
that.
I would never use God to damn somebody.
Yeah, that's
That's
I've
different.
checked
That's-
myself
people
on that.
say
I'm like,
damn it to hell.
because I've said it to my dog.
Yes.
I'm like, God
I,
damn it,
I will
Kel."
say damn it to hell.
I say it to my dog. I'm like, God damn it,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Damn you, bitch.
and I've even said, God damn you, and I'm like, oh, I've actually caught myself and been like, no, God would never damn you. You're too handsome.
Is he the goodest of all the boys?
Such a good boy.
He's not the goodest of all the
The
boys.
second thing.
He's one of the goodest.
Okay.
Second
He'll
thing.
bite your balls.
I
off.
personally know the goodest of all the
Why
boys.
did
His
we
name's Hitler.
phase out the
Aw.
term?
That came out wrong. It's a dog that I call Hitler.
What were you saying,
Sorry.
dude? I have ears. I want to hear.
We're going off.
Why
sorry.
did we phase out the term libtards?
We didn't.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah,
didn't.
bring it back, because I haven't heard that in so long. That was my favorite thing. I used to call them libtards, and now
Yeah.
it's gone, and I'm pissed. I want that back.
All right, we'll
Bring
start
it
with
back.
this. Raise your hand if you're a
Libtards.
libtard.
Hashtag libtard in the
You
comments.
guys enjoy yourselves.
You guys enjoy yourself.
Oh, I enjoy myself.
Let us know when you're ready to come to the real
I'm ready.
party. Oh,
I'm
you ready?
back.
All right.
Of conservatism.
Hashtag realism.
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Is how about the phrase where a lot of libtards or a lot of atheists are like, I don't want to believe in a God that I have to fear. They misunderstand the phrase fear God. Because
The fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom.
fearing because
Fuck, that's
could
a
be-
fucking good quote. Holy
I could
shit.
be wrong, but
Fuck.
what I understand
Calm
it to
down,
be, and all the places that I've heard more about this, I agree with. When it comes to fear of God, is not like being afraid of Him. It's understanding that He
his
loves
power.
us so much that you're more afraid of letting Him down. So you're afraid of you're afraid of the standard He set through Jesus and through the Bible, and people are and by knowing what those things are that bother Him and doing them anyways, you're afraid of bother. You're afraid of letting Him down. I say that.
I used
Ultimate
to take it as like the fear of God. Like I'm going to hell. Like God's just this evil
I'm
being
afra-
up there.
like,
He's
am
not
I
evil,
afraid of
but
what
he's
he
just
can
this
do
being
to
up
me?
there, like waiting to send me to hell and judge me.
I'm not.
And that's not how
I
it
am.
is at
I
all.
am afraid of what knowing the power that's been around and that I've seen, and knowing the stories I've heard, that is a healthy fear. But when you're doing it right, you're not afraid of that so much anymore. You're afraid of letting him down. You're afraid that he loves you. It's like a really good dad. It's like my dad. One of the punishment from my dad, because he was such a great dad, was the punishment for me was knowing I'd let him down. Whenever I was in trouble, I knew I was in trouble when my dad was let down. And that was more of a punishment. I feared that punishment more than any other.
Yes. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I felt the same way. My dad was an amazing man. Who served this country as did yours, and God bless him. It was more of not a fear, because again, we talked about the rainbow. If you notice the difference between the LGBTQ rainbow and the actual rainbow that God gave as a sign in the sky, the actual rainbow has 7 colors in it.
Yep.
The LGBTQ has 6.
Now
Think about that numerology.
Now it has 7 because they added black. And like gray and all
What
that.
about
And by the
2S?
And
how do you
brown.
add black? Like,
They have like 9.
for Black Lives Matter, for black stuff, for a sexuality.
I think that means you can identify as black now, right?
And if you can identify as two-spirit, why wouldn't you show up to a job as one person and
This
not
is-
get 2 wages?
This is our This is our ADHD.
I'm curious.
This is our ADHD.
yeah, on God.
These two are autistic, and we clearly have ADHD.
I am
So we
artistic.
are on some shit.
I'm
I saw this
artistic.
video. I might have showed it to you too, but the guy, he walks into a restaurant and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to get a burger," and they're like, "Okay, thank you, sir." And he's like, "No, I'm not sir. I go by they them." He's like, "Oh, so you want 2 burgers?" And he's like, "No, just 1."
There's
He's
a
like,
bird laughing at you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Laughing at the story. He's like, I've heard this son of a bitch before.
Yeah, he's
Stupid.
like- he's like, so they get 2 burgers. You get 1 burger.
Now someone's getting.
Yeah.
And then so
He like charges him
Well,
twice.
no, well,
Perfect.
I'll say,
Nice.
I'll say this. Like,
exactly right.
if you are
That's
one
2
of,
tips too. Son of a bitch. Cheap.
we'll bring it together. If you are one of
Call him a son of a bitch too. Sorry.
one of the millions of Americans who saw the assassination attempt on Trump yesterday, and after seeing his head move at the perfectly right time and all that stuff, and you still think there's no God, there's something mentally wrong with you, and you are, as Zen would say, a libtard.
Yeah, and you're a fucking retard as
You're
well.
you're a libterate, dude.
And, you know, we got nothing but love, but we got to play around with it a little bit.
I have a little bit of hate.
I don't have hate.
Well,
You have
I
hate
think
in your heart.
I have hate.
Let
you know
it
the
out.
term that I use. You let it out.
I love Dave Chappelle.
And you know what you do? This is going to be probably going to offend some people, but what I think they're doing is queering around. They're queering around, dude. And I've had it up to here with all the queering around.
I've had it down here.
Look at you.
Look at you! Posting cringe and queering around.
Posting cringe.
Posting cringe and queering around all over the
That's what it was.
social media gaff.
This has been good though.
This has been a great
Nice
talk.
difference. I mean, this is fuck that chicken.
Leave that chicken alone.
No, I'm gonna fuck that. All right.
Don't. Oh my.
Don't
fuck.
be deceived. That's
I'm gonna have
Lizzo's.
to
That is
Leave
one of
that
the.
out.
You cannot
not
lay
chicken
with
voice.
beasts.
That's teriyaki labia right there.
But I think.
I'll tell you-
are you guys ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, we're good to go. I just,
You're
Look,
talking about protected
God
sex.
loves you. Jesus loves you, and we encourage you to look into the Bible, to read the Bible.
So avoid the
We
abortion
encourage you to literally give your heart to Jesus Christ, and it does make a difference, and it really will, honestly, just change your perspective about everything. Find a good church. I have problems finding a good church. I listen to Joseph Prince. I want to just say his name again because he really did bring me to Christ, and I want to just promote him as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I think that, and it's not something to play around with. You're literally talking about eternity, your eternal life.
Yeah. And if you're retarded, that means forever.
It means
If you
forever.
can't tell what's good and evil nowadays,
You're
a
on the
little more
you're on,
digging.
if you can't tell what's good and evil nowadays, you're on the wrong side.
you're on the wrong side. You're on the wrong side because look for the side that can say, here's what and here's why. Instead of, oh, that's
yeah.
racist, censor that
Well,
person.
Paul, real quick as we kind of wrap this up. I mean, you've had kind of a hard up story. I don't know how much you feel
Lots.
comfortable
Dude,
sharing, but
I'm
if
an
you
open
can,
book like the Bible, bro.
if you can, if you can I mean,
a little insight on how
share
it was
like
for you.
some of your experience
Like regarding,
coming to Christ.
boy, mine was a long, like mine is probably more akin to what people nowadays that have been fighting for so long would have. Because for a long time I was agnostic. I never went atheist. I always had a feeling, but through various exercises I've had with very powerful psychedelic drugs that have shown me some shit. I mean, I'm being real right now. I've seen
Right.
things that are like, okay, God, I hear what you're saying. I don't quite understand it yet, but I got the words. Later in life, I started realizing, holy shit, there was a message in there. And it was through the most fuckery of means, too. Taking, like, you know, I mean, shit. I consider myself conservative, but, like, the shit I was doing was not.
Right.
I disagree with the way that the war on drugs has been done because there's a whole lot of information in there, and they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But I'm not saying that psychedelics brought me there, but they told me something that people had told me from the Bible before I ever tried that shit. And I heard the words, but I did not hear them. The understanding is what took me a lot of personal suffering to get to. That's friends dying through horrible accidents, killing themselves. That's me losing hope in there's being any good in the world and just trying to drown it out and numb myself for any means possible. We're talking garbage can junkie, dude. If it'll make you not feel anymore, I'm feeling it. And so the only thing that got me out of there had to be something miraculous. And I'm telling you that I'm getting all
Absolutely.
misty about it right now, but that's what's so powerful about it. It's because the worst times in my life, I figured out to turn into the best times of my life. And that is not going to make sense to a lot of people, but that's where my faith came from, because that's what I latched onto. Because I was at a point where I'm like, okay, do I keep doing drugs and hurt my family and everyone that's ever cared about me into oblivion until I don't exist anymore with my bad feelings? Or do I figure out how to make the best of what I've been given? And it took me a while through all that suffering to realize that what I've been given was a gift that kept on giving, because I shouldn't be alive. Like, facts, I shouldn't be alive. Over and over again, so many times that I don't even remember I shouldn't be alive right now. And after that many attempts, I mean, I never tried to kill myself or anything like that, but you could say that I kind of did. I was in the I was like, I didn't care if that's how it ended up, but I wasn't going to do it myself consciously. But I was at that point, so, and what turned it around for me was 3 small words. And those words did not come, they weren't given to me, they came from within. And it was something that, I don't know if it was Jesus, I don't know if it was God, but it was a whisper. It started with a whisper. When I was begging,
God
right?
speaks in a small.
But this is
small
what I was
voice.
talking about. You need to go through the suffering because you can hear all kinds of lessons and you will never understand them until you've suffered enough for them to have the context necessary for you to be like, that was the lesson. And the lesson for me that I needed at that time that turned everything around, I was in a negative spiral that led a lot of our friends to cap themselves and so forth, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, I don't want to be like that because I'm suffering right now because of what they did. And I'm trying to act like I'm suffering right now because of me. I realize I'm suffering because of my choices. Anything they did was outside of me. And it's a plan that's beyond me. So the 3 small words that were whispered into my ear at a time of deep suffering and reaching out. I mean, I was at the point where I'm like, okay, God, I hope that you're real. Please tell me how I can get out of this negative feedback loop. Because there's nothing in my life that I can grab onto that's positive. That'll pull me out of it. I've tried. And those words were, I think you guys know what they are. Could be what?
I love you.
I love you is a good one, but I've heard that before and it didn't get
Could
me out
be
of it.
worse.
Could be worse. Those 3 words, something put into my head from outside when I suffered enough to ask, what perspective do I need right now to help me out of this? And 3 words came into my head like clear as a bell. Well, it could be worse. And that's all I had. That's all I was given. So I constantly was like, okay, could be worse. What does that mean? Okay, I have a massive drug addiction right now. I feel really bad for myself. I can blame the rest of the world. I can do all the things that continued this fucking negative feedback loop. Or I can see how much worse it could be. I don't have cancer right now. Nobody's raping me. I'm not in a dungeon somewhere. I'm not being sacrificed to
Right,
Moloch right now. I mean, I wasn't aborted when I was young. Like, I had, I started looking at all the terrible things. And if all you have is to look at the terrible things and the game of comparison is a killer of happiness. Everybody, eventually you'll figure that out. But that is exactly the game when you're at the worst. That's when you play the game of comparison. That's when you say, okay, it's not, I don't have this person has this. I'm not dealing with so much worse that my life could easily be. It could be worse, and it's not. That's a gift. Boom, you've got something to grab onto. And you just keep on going. And any thought that you have that my life couldn't be worse, well, guess what? Oh, yeah, it could. And if you think about it long enough, you'll realize all of the ways that your life could be so much worse, and you have the gift of it not being that bad. And if that doesn't lead you to some kind of a faith through practice over time, realizing, holy shit, I'm now sober. Like, I don't do all of the things. I know exactly who to stay away from, people, places, and things. I know exactly how to keep myself out of that, and how to keep myself, no matter what position I'm in. If I find myself in a terrible place, I'll know which things are not the truth. I'll be able to tell what people are lying to me based on what the fruits of their efforts and labors. And really, that's what it comes down to. That's why I say a fear of God is not being afraid of his power, but being afraid of letting him down. Because if you can be in the darkest of dark and find light, you've found God.
Well, just remember that, part of that rainbow sign that he gave us was that he will never again be angry with you or rebuke you.
I never felt that.
And, well, I hope you feel it now.
Well, I never felt judged. I felt judged by people, but I never felt judged by
Oh,
my
you never
Creator.
felt judged. I misconstrued
I felt
that.
like I could keep on fucking up, and the love was still there. So much so that in my desperate moments of all these stupid decisions that I knew better than to make, and I still found myself wallowing in my own self-pity, he was still there loving me, telling me exactly what I needed to hear, telling me exactly what I needed to hear, and no person whispered those words into my fucking head. But they came in crystal clear, and I had enough suffering to lend context to what exactly. So I took those 3 words and I just started chewing on them. And it's gotten me out of any kind of. That's why I said I haven't been bored in years, because only boring people get bored.
Yes. Yep.
I've been saying that, and I haven't been bored in so long, because only boring people get bored. And I know I'm not a boring person. But, like,
No, as always,
I have experienced the love of God in the lowest of lows. The
and
love
that-
of God
that's
gave me
the
the guide
best.
map on how to get out.
That's the best. I had a friend who was literally would say that he had the best talks with God when he was high,
Yeah.
and it got him off drugs and everything like that.
Yeah.
So don't put God in a box.
Nope.
And that's my
That's so crazy.
That's my 2 cents, because it's like, oh well, you do drugs, so God's you're far from God. It's the Pharisees that Jesus got pissed at. It's the Pharisees, and as he got pissed off at them, because they knew so much more about God than God knew about God, and but they missed the coming of they missed the coming of the Son, Jesus Christ,
because they were so busy being proud of their own intelligence and
pride.
status in the church and synagogue, whatever. Like, they were just super, like, just into themselves, and they couldn't be wrong, and Jesus was a joke to them.
Well, Paul, thank you for sharing that, and honestly, like, it's very inspiring, and we just hope that a lot of you guys, don't be dismayed if you have an issue with drugs or alcohol or any sort of problem, or you feel like something that you're doing is keeping you away from God. I feel like telling people to go and fix themselves and then go to God is like telling someone to clean themselves before they take a shower. And you
Right.
go to God to get cleaned. You go to him as you are, you are. And Jesus loves you.
He loves what's in you, not what's on you. Like, he loves.
That could be taken in so many different
Well,
directions.
what I mean by that is, I get what you're saying, but he loves. You can tattoo yourself up. You can put jewelry on. You can cut things off. You can make yourself look completely different from the creation that he made you, and he still loves what's in you because he created it.
Yes.
He doesn't care about the color. of
Nothing
your
he
skin,
creates
doesn't care
ever
about-
dies.
Yep.
It'll be
He cares
eternally.
about
It'll
what's in your
eternally
fucking
live
heart,
on.
not in your bun's hole.
Either in hell or heaven, but you'll eternally live on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You personally. And
Well,
how?
I feel like
I'm just kidding.
Feel like,
That's
I feel like if I end up there, they're gonna.
you got a refund.
I feel like for some reason, if I end up there, I will be one of those people spit out and be like, "Well, bro, he's not. Yeah, he's preaching too much choir down here."
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like our content. You like seeing us just give our opinions and talk a lot of shit. You know, so
Let me just.
please comment in there. And then do you want to?
One last thing.
Oh,
Dude.
please.
If ever
do.
you think there's not any way that your life could get more fucked up and it could be worse, better call Paul. I'll fucking tell you how it could get worse.
Do you want to? You want to promote your business?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't need to.
All right. No,
He's
yeah,
too
obviously.
rich and famous for that.
No, it's awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, like, share, subscribe if you like what you see, if you like the content that you are being given. We're putting a lot of effort into this. We're really trying to grow this and do something really special with this because we love. It's a passion of ours. It's something that we are like diehard fans of, and just if you can afford to do it, like just take the time out of your day to comment and give us that feedback that we so desperately need, whether it's that we're all gay or that we're all awesome.
Or
It
that you
doesn't
notice
matter.
my boner at timestamp 27 minutes and 36 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
And if anybody out there thinks that I'm too handsome for this, just save your comments. We already know.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace out, everybody.
See you guys.